Honey, you have to get up soon.
Okay.
We're attacking Canada today.
We are?
Yes. We're going to Vancouver.
Holy cow. Okay, does Ellie know this?
Yes.
Is she coming with?
No.
Oh my God, you're ready.
I am. Let's go. Let's do this.
Wait, what?
It says British Columbia. So,
Yes.
So Vancouver is in British Columbia.
Yeah, it's safe to assume that, huh? Hello, kiddies. It's me, your father. Your mother and I are both acknowledging that we've been absentee parents as of late.
Hey kids, we're still your parents. We're just in Toronto, Vancouver.
We're in Vancouver.
God, I keep doing that. Anyway, we're in Vancouver. We're heading to a place called Granville Island. Look it up. I'm driving because Dad's so lazy. He doesn't do anything.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to sell everything and travel the country at the tender age of 50? Well, with our last kid off to college and the ability to now work remotely, we've decided to do just that. So we're selling the house, loading up the dog, and hitting every city from California to Florida. We're scouring the country for a new place to call home and dragging you into every restaurant, Airbnb, and tourist trap we encounter along the way. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast. Hi, listeners. Thank you for joining in. This is our bonus episode of our my surprise trip to Vancouver.
The attack of Canada.
That's what it is. Thank you for listening to Skip Town All-Stars bonus Canada.
What city did we go to, hon?
Toronto.
Yeah. No, we went to Vancouver.
I know. I did it the entire trip. I'm stupid, and I have no shame in that game. Literally, I own it.
You're very good at it. You really are an all-star at clobbering the names of various places we go.
And I will continue to do so.
All right. So tell us what happened.
Oh my gosh. So Monday morning, I woke up to James waking me up and saying, get ready. We are going to Vancouver. And I was super excited. I mean, I've never been to Canada. So I didn't realize that it's only a 2.5 hour drive. I actually thought it was like 4 or 5. The customs agents did ask us a few questions. They were quite nice. They told us where to go, some
prove
sightseeing.
Vaccination. We had to prove our vaccination.
We did have to prove our vaccination, but I expected it to be a little more difficult just because I know that when I come from Mexico or go to Mexico,
it's hours long.
Yeah, it's hours long.
Yeah.
So they really have it very streamlined, very organized. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
What I did learn is that we stayed in northern Vancouver. So it's across the bay from Vancouver proper, I guess. And it seemed that northern Vancouver, and I could be wrong for all you Canadians, is the up and coming area. If I had to guess, it's like the Jersey City to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Tons of construction everywhere. Roads being...
The streets, the high rises, like so many high rises getting thrown up there now.
Yeah. And James one morning said he saw at least 100 people getting on the ferry going to Vancouver in the mornings for work. So it seems to be the place to live if you can't possibly, my guess is, again, I'm not a Canadian, but if Vancouver is just a little too expensive, North Vancouver might be the place from you from our experience. So with that being said, don't stay in North Vancouver. There is way too much construction.
We stayed at a place called Lonsdale Quay. It's spelled Quay.
Okay, the location.
So I was pronouncing that wrong. Speaking of butchering name, I was pronouncing it Lonsdale Quay.
Okay,
or something like that. But it's. I think it's pronounced Key. Yeah.
We literally stayed up above. I mean, I'm talking proximity, literally up above what's considered their Pike Place market. It is their open air market. So the location itself was pretty incredible. The hotel was really dumpy, but the room was very big. And we're happy and grateful that they allowed us to have a dog there. I just wouldn't necessarily stay in that hotel, which is such a shame because the elevator takes you right down to the market, and the market is amazing. It's just that they haven't kept up their hotel very well. So I wouldn't stay there.
Yeah, it was dingy brown carpet in the hallways and dingy paint. Like not dingy, but just everything was painted sort of dark. Don't you think? It was
just old.
Yeah, it was. It definitely needs a facelift.
Yeah.
And, they were doing construction on the building while we were there as well. So maybe it's going to get it. I'm not sure. When I first booked it, the price was right. It was only a couple $100 a night or something like that. And they took the dog.
And I thought that was still kind of expensive for the room, but it's
Kind-
okay. The room was
It's
roomy.
a theme up here, though. I mean, even in Seattle, we paid a lot of money for particular hotel rooms that, you know, I don't know. Vancouver was different in a lot of ways, but in that respect, it was different than, it was the same as Seattle, I should say.
But the upside to it is everything you would think about Canada. We could literally hike everywhere and anywhere that we wanted. So we left our hotel and we did get in a car. We could have probably walked, but we did get in our car and drove to a local spot that had beautiful hiking with
Mosquito Creek.
And the waterway through that park was actually a salmon habitat. I mean, that was really cool to see. So it wasn't just like your neighborhood park. It was a really legitimate hiking area. I really enjoyed that. I also enjoyed just the water. It like Seattle, almost wherever you go, you see water. And that really is a very big selling point that we learned for the people that live in Vancouver. You know, it's not cheap to live there. Canada is expensive in general, just everything. The food seemed to be a little bit cheaper, but housing is expensive. Gas is expensive. You know, like to buy clothes wasn't cheap. I looked at prices like for shirts and blouse, pants. Like it's not an inexpensive city. But one thing that a shopkeeper said to us was that it's worth it because you can walk everywhere and and if you're a water lover, it's a city to live in. And I could see why they would say that. The whole city faces, it seems, the water. It's pretty incredible the way it's designed. The architecture is quite beautiful.
Yeah, there were some really amazing skyrises.
It's like very cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
Like extremely. So Northern Vancouver, where we stayed, is more on the up and coming, it seems. I hate to say that because Canadians may disagree with me and say it's been there or it's not up and coming, but we just saw a lot of construction. So I'm going to say that.
And we're not talking houses or duplexes. We're talking like
high rises,
10 floors, 15 floors. It looks like they're going to be in the end.
Now, Vancouver City, extremely metropolitan, lots of hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
They call it the walking city, and I can see why. Everyone walks everywhere. It's incredible. And the parking there is fantastic. Like you can park almost anywhere. So street parking may be difficult, but there's always a place there's always a lot you can find. And really they encourage you to park your car and walk. Everyone seems to just be happy with biking and being on foot. And I appreciate a city like that. Although I myself am not interested in living in a city. I loved visiting it.
I loved it. I could live there. I could totally live there.
Oh my God.
It's so great.
He was looking at properties.
I was. I actually went on Zillow. So you're right that North Vancouver is a slight drop in prices over Vancouver, the city itself. And then I even went a bit further, and we didn't visit there, but I looked in Victoria and the prices are even better still.
Well, I wouldn't mind going.
Anything could happen.
Look, I'm open to anything outside of a city. And that is really how I feel. With regards to being in Vancouver, I would suggest a visit there for sure. We went to an area called Granville Island, which is a tourist area, but it's not a tourist trap. It's just a very popular area because it's lots of artists that have shops that are set up there. So you don't just see like Vancouver trinkets. You actually see beautiful pieces of jewelry. You see handcrafted pieces of pottery, plenty to look at on Granville Island. And the food is excellent.
Yeah, and they have an open air, or not an open air, but they have a public market there as well.
They do.
But the pier is right there.
Yeah, the pier is there, and we ate on the pier.
Super touristy, but not in the way of like visiting, Central Florida and going to Disney World type.
No, not at all.
It wasn't touristy in that regard. You would see locals among
100%.
the tourists.
Yeah, because
it was there were a lot of Euros there. I mean, there were a lot of European visitors there.
Agreed.
And so it was good in that regard.
It was
I
a
mean,
draw because it sat on the water. So it's like, what's not to like about this place?
yeah. And it's great. I mean, that's always a telltale sign when you go somewhere and you see locals actually hanging out in an area. Like, the few people that you talked to, I should say, that sent us to certain spots, they did it without reservation. And, if I were in New York, I would not generally, I would say, oh, you can go to Times Square, but I won't go with you,
Right.
Like even in LA, we're like, oh,
Hollywood Boulevard.
Lucy's visiting, so we got to go do Hollywood and Highland and that whole shtick, and it's a grind, like the tourist traps in some of the cities that we've been to. Vancouver did not feel like those cities.
No, not at all. And then there's a park on the edge. If I look at the map correctly, it's literally on the edge of Vancouver.
It's on the peninsula.
Yeah, and it is called Stanley Park, and it would be, I guess, New York's version of Central Park, but this park is not in the middle of the city. It's on the edge of the city, but it offers so much to their residents. I mean, there's a beautiful harbor. We watch people rowing. They have a rowing club there.
Yeah.
Their aquarium is there. They have a botanical garden there. It's where they keep also their horses for their what is the word when the policemen are on horses? There's an actual
the mounted police.
Yes, so the mounted police are located in that park, and they have their horse stables there. It's beautiful. You could spend, if you wanted, 3 to 4 hours just in Stanley Park. Then you walk outside the park, and I'm not kidding when I tell you this. The city is right there. So you walk out. So let's say you're spending the whole day. You can go hiking in the park. Like, there's so much you can do. You walk outside the park, and then you have streets and streets of food, which is
street
incredible.
Called Denman, Denman, and it's just a strip of any kind of food you can imagine. So,
anything. Like, you could have Lebanese, you can have Italian, you could have Greek,
lots
you
of
could
Asian
Japanese
varieties there. Yeah.
Oh, and then Denman ends at the water.
Yeah.
So again, you just turn around and you can see water. It was really such a great trip, and I'm so glad you did it. Thank you.
You're
I mean, it
welcome.
was
Yeah.
really nice. What made you decide to
fun.
do that?
When I was with Ellie before, but our trip to Seattle was so fast, and it was just a quick recruiting mission for her to play on her team. And I did the math when I was here just to see if she was going to go to this school. Like, I said to myself, we are going to have to visit Canada. We are so close to the border. And I knew it was 2.5 hours before I even booked the hotel in Lonsdale.
Got it. Okay.
At Lonsdale. So I'd known for a while, and I just said, if she ends up going to Seattle University, like, we are definitely going to Canada at some point. The podcast angle wasn't even in play when, just being able to talk about this plan. Yeah. I mean, I always knew that I had heard great things about Vancouver. If you're driving around Seattle, you see people with Vancouver, BC license plates. So it's within reach. Both cities are within reach of one another. How could you not go? You know? And so you have to. And I know when we were packing, I kept saying to you, just make sure you bring your passport. Make sure you bring your passport.
I thought it was the oddest thing. I'm like,
I know,
why
you're getting
is he
testy with me.
I was like, I said to him at one point,
like, why?
I go, what, you think we're going to die? And he goes, yep.
I didn't know what to say other than I'd already planned on coming to British Columbia.
And the funny thing is, I said to my brother, I'm going to FedEx my important papers to you, including my passport. But then I had to tell him, I don't know, James made me keep my passport. Like, why? Okay, there are very few things you ask of me.
Yeah.
And so when you do ask of something particular like that, I'll do it. And so I was like, all right, what the heck? I'll just hold on to my passport.
I figured, especially when I booked the hotel, you have this knack for blowing every surprise. And just all of a sudden, that's a day where you feel like doing your own little bit of accounting, even though you're never in the bank account. I take care of all that at this point. She did it for so many years, to be clear. And then there just came a point where she's like, you know what? I'm done.
I check the account once in a while, and I guess I always check it on.
She always checks it on the day where it's like I have something planned, or
a surprise. I'll be like, wait, what's
or maybe
this charge?
on days where I bought a piece of gear that I didn't want her to find out about.
Lots of Amazon deliveries.
I do.
Oh my God.
I know. I am. I'm totally Amazon. I know.
But anyway, so
character flaw.
Vancouver was great. It was a wonderful surprise. Thank you for doing it. It was
You're welcome.
so
Yeah.
nice. I
was
wish we had
cool.
more time there. We were there for 2.5 days, but it was 2.5 full days, and it didn't even.
No,
we didn't even
it went
get
by
into the
fast.
city. I mean,
Yeah.
we literally didn't.
We did not do the rope bridge either.
We did not. The
In North Vancouver. I forget
know,
the name of
the
it.
suspended bridge.
Yeah.
I know. There's a lot of things that we didn't get a chance to do, but it made me want to go back. And when a city does that for you, you had a good experience.
Yeah, for sure. I could see us flying to Seattle for one or two of Ellie's games, bouncing up there for a couple of days, and then coming back to see another game. Just depends on how her schedule is.
Well, that
and
sounds like a good
how her
idea.
finances are. I tested the internet in the hotel. At the particular hotel, it was not
It
fast,
was
right?
awful.
Yeah.
That internet was awful. So we have to stay at a different hotel.
You need to update your phone once in a while.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I would entertain for sure a few weeks of working.
I'm great with that.
From
Let's
Vancouver.
do it. Can we do it
and
now?
really get in a setting. I don't know. You said you don't want to be in the city. It's pretty.
No, I
it's
know,
pretty
but
city.
I would stay outside of the city.
The thing
And-
I like though, and this is my thing. You can walk downstairs from wherever you're staying, and within however many blocks, you can get everything you need.
Yeah, we're not
So-
doing that. I don't care. I'm sick of the city, so we can stay outside the city.
Okay, we'll have to get a cabin or something like
Okay,
that.
that
So.
sounds good.
But anyway, I'm glad I was actually able to pull off the surprise because you were genuinely not expecting it. So
I
and I felt
wasn't.
that.
I wasn't. I was really like, what? So
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you. So that was our Vancouver stay. It was quick, but we did quite a bit, I feel, and I would highly recommend it. And I'm so excited that you're talking about wanting to go back.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to check out Victoria just because.
Yeah, why not?
I'm on the hunt for a place to live eventually, and so.
And I always like to try new things too.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I know it's kind of messy when you're thinking about buying a property in another country or what have you. We're certainly not there yet. I still have kids to get through school, and I'm not just assigning myself to moving to Canada at this point. But I will say it definitely had some benefits. For me, it was way more pro than any con I could think of.
Okay, really quick. Benefits. Let's talk about that. 0 homeless.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw one person.
There were 3 guys.
Well, I saw one, and he may have just been like a guy who
He might have just been high.
Yeah, he might have just been high. It's incredible. That city is so clean, and there were
It
no,
is clean.
I didn't see one tent.
Yeah.
Not one
There
tent.
were no tents.
So there's something to be said about, I guess, having socialized medicine. My guess is, I'm just guessing, I'm not a politician. I don't know how their government is handled inside and out. But my guess is if there's no homeless people on the street, my guess is that their mental health is being addressed through the social services. I don't know. I would have to ask a Canadian. I'd probably have to ask somebody who works in the government how they are addressing this issue. Not a single tent, not a single sleeping bag. Can I just tell you, I said this to James, it was so amazing for the 2 days that we spent in this city and not one person asked me for money.
Yeah, it's kind of jarring. We're so used to it, but
We are. It's sad.
It feels to me like it's a country where if you get sick, you don't lose your house. And I think
Oh,
as
for sure.
Americans, we should consider that a lot more than we already do. You can't talk, the word socialization is a buzzword and it's a red flag for a lot of people.
But there's something to be said about somebody being able to have cancer and not worry about losing their home.
Yeah.
I just don't think healthcare should be dictated by your income.
I don't know. We're swimming into waters. We
You're going to cut this all out.
Yeah.
This is too much.
I don't know if they've solved the homelessness problems, but these Canadians with their medicine for everybody and their clean streets and their beautiful cities and
Something's working.
clean waterways. It's like, who do they think they are?
They're really nice too.
I know they're
So
super nice people. They let me out in traffic. It was great. Not one person came up on my butt at 60 miles an hour. It was nice to be out of Seattle for a couple of days.
No one flipped you off? That's a very LA thing.
Yeah, no. I mean, nobody's flipped me off in Seattle that I'm
No,
aware of
I know.
either.
I'm just saying. And it's funny
yeah,
compared.
nobody flipped me off.
All right. So the takeaway for you in Vancouver was what?
The takeaway for me in Vancouver was I visited Canada one time when I was in college. It was your requisite trip to Niagara Falls if you're living in Ohio or Pennsylvania or wherever. I was super happy to go back to Canada for real this time. It was kind of a thrill for me because what I found was a metropolitan city, but only surrounded by all this nature, the trees, the coastline, the cliffs, you name it. It's really a picturesque city, especially from where we were staying in North Vancouver. We could just look across the harbor and see Vancouver all lit up at night. It was gorgeous. I mean, I can't wait to go back.
I didn't know what to expect. I always wanted to visit Canada. I just didn't know what city. So I did not know anything about Vancouver at all. So going there, it was really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice to see the city. It was nice to be able to experience it. I had no preconceived ideas. I went in with the unknown in my head and I came out really enjoying it.
It was a perfect thing to do in between our kid not being able to see us for a couple of days because she began practices and
Volleyball practice.
she was just too whipped to even be with us anyway. So it gave us some time alone with our favorite doggy. And
yep. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciated that nice surprise.
You're welcome.
All right. So the next episode, we will take you through rural Washington on our way to Utah. And we may stop in Idaho. We're not sure of what city yet, but we're thinking probably Boise. It seems to be the halfway mark. Take us out.
Empty nest, full tank. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.